When you're making nachos, if you're using gross cheese sauce and just dumping your chips in a pile, you're doing it all wrong. The first thing people do wrong when they make nachos is they just dump a whole bag of chips into a giant pile. There's no way all the chips can get coated evenly, and you also end up with a bunch of little crumbles at the bottom that no one wants to eat. People see this cheese dip in the aisle next to the chips and think, well, I'll just use this on my nachos. Not a good idea. It's not even cheese, and it does not belong on any nacho. Don't be tempted to microwave your nachos. This is wrong for so many reasons. Either the cheese doesn't melt all the way, or it crosses over into that over-melted, bubbly, cardboard-textured mess that cheese gets in the microwave. And finally, when you're ready to add your toppings, don't just glop them all on. This isn't an ice cream sundae. They're not going to just flow down nicely and cover all the chips. They're just going to sit there. So what you're left with are a bunch of chips that are either soggy, rubbery from their time in the microwave, or never even saw a topping. You certainly don't end up with nachos, and you don't end up with anything anyone would want to eat. Now I'm going to show you the right way to make nachos. First, you want to put your chips in one layer. They can be overlapping a bit, but you want to spread them out so that each chip has a chance to get the topping it deserves. You can use any chips you want. I like to use thicker cut chips because they can hold more toppings. If you're using any meat or beans, you want to spoon them onto each chip. Now, you don't need to get too persnickety in doing each chip individually, but you do want to spread it around and make sure most of the chips are covered. Cheese. Cheese is what makes nachos nachos, melting cheese on chips. So make sure to use a good melting cheese, like cheddar or Monterey Jack. Shred it first, and then sprinkle it evenly over all the chips. I like to put my nachos under a broiler, but you can also just put them in a hot oven. You want to leave them in until the cheese is melted and the chips just start to turn brown on the edges, no more than 5 minutes. So now your nachos are almost ready, but first you have to add your garnishes. If you're using salsa, drain it in a fine mesh sieve or spoon off any watery liquid before you add it to your nachos. This will ensure that your nachos stay nice and crispy. But no matter what toppings you use, make sure to spread them out evenly, just like you did with the meat and beans. If you've done all these things right, you're going to end up with an entire pan full of hot, cheesy, crispy nachos.